Hello everybody, I hope you guys are all doing super well. So the main thing again this week, of course, is the Mansard roof, because everything is dedicated towards that at the moment, and the colors are starting to look quite amazing up there. But before we get up there, I want to explain a few things about the paint that I kind of missed or glossed over a little bit. First off, let me say it's pretty impressive to know how many people who watch the channel from Sweden. So shout out to you guys make some excellent paint. Now to address a few of the comments that I got, one I think I saw was mostly about primer for paints like this. Essentially, you just use the paint as a primer. Again, 70% boiled linseed oil to 30% pigment. At least that is the recommendation of this manufacturer of paint. You would not use a regular primer for this sort of paint. It's just not how it works. The other thing is, somebody told me to use a paint sprayer. I do think this pigment is a bit, and by a bit I mean a lot, too thick to be able to put through any kind of paint sprayer. The consistency of this paint is closer to an ink you would use for screen printing, and therefore I don't think it's compatible with most or any paint sprayers. I'm sure there's a few that can handle it. And of course, this isn't stuff you should really thin in the last few coats. Also, to apply the multicolored paint scheme I have to do up there would require a huge amount of masking, and to be honest, I don't know how much of a time saver it would really truly be. Also, one thing that you should know when using any type of boiled linseed oil or linseed oil at all, or honestly most oils or greases, things like that, when you wipe it up with a rag, you need to be very careful with those rags because they have a big tendency to spontaneously combust. What I do with my rags is I actually soak them in water in the sink. I lay them out flat outside, let them dry, and then throw them away. Again, never coming back inside the house. I always stay outside. So there is a big fire risk with boiled linseed oil in particular. I think it is one of the bigger culprits of spontaneous combustion, so be very careful with your oil-soaked rags. So let's get into some time lapses. The Mansard's definitely starting to come together, so let's have a look at it, shall we? would just like to say that that little bit of color is helping the aesthetic of the house so very much. Again, I keep calling the mansard the tiara or the crown of this beautiful old gal. And now that she's starting to get some proper Victorian color, she's really starting to light up. And you might notice that there's a lot of the woodwork up there on the mansard that I haven't even bothered trying to strip. You may think to yourself, well, why are you painting this one area where you haven't even stripped all the paint off the other area? Well, that's because most of that wood that I haven't stripped up there is stuff that is going to be completely replaced. Most of it due to the fact that I had some animals living in the mansard, and probably still do. Squirrels have definitely become my enemy up there. But the pigeons and other random birds don't help either. But the squirrels, oh, they are a nasty sort. They will chew through anything. And rather than try to wood fill all these corners, because I've had all of this woodwork made for the mansard roof, I might as well use all of the new material. Because it's new, it's perfect, and it doesn't require wood filler. And of course, new lumber lasts longer than wood filler. And I don't really care what type of wood filler you're using. New wood is obviously going to last longer. But adding just that little bit of color that I've added so far is just that little hint of the future, that little sneak peek of just how pretty this house can be, and should be, and will be. In keeping with this theme, I did actually have to climb up to the 3rd story, up onto the roof, and get the last few measurements for the last few pieces of woodwork that have to be made before everything can be brought to site and the assembly can start. So I'll meet you guys up there.
For those of you wondering how I get up to the 3rd floor up here, Kim and I just crawled out a window that's right down here, because the house is only 2 stories in the back and 3 stories up front. Now, for those of you who are used to looking at the house from the front, this is the tower. So you can see it actually extends up above the roof quite a bit, actually, about up to my, oh well, my belly button, let's say. Yeah, about right at my belly button, so 3.5 feet, 4 feet. And you can see St. Louis over there, NGA. And that is Grand Center, where all of our old theaters are. It's a really nice view. So yeah, pretty nice view up here. Of course, you guys have seen this view with the drone before, so this isn't as impressive. Why I'm up here is actually to get a few measurements for the last few remaining flat boards, or fascia boards, that I need to have made here for the mansard roof, including this little guy, because that one's pretty rotten. There's a lot of this around the house. So essentially everything above the cornice that you guys see me painting, well, basically everything wooden, from the dormers to this top little crown, all of it's going to replace because all of it's in really terrible condition. So you can see none of it's doing so hot. But that's why I'm up here, to make these last few boards, because you're getting very, very close to replacing all of this. One thing I did want to point out to you guys, that's the actual color of the roof, not this red crap. And this here is actually a painted green tile, but this was painted when the house was originally built. These are those diamond shapes you guys see on the house, which is why I always knew there was a lot of green on this house. So you can see those there, how they kind of make a shape. 2 more there. And then there's a few more down here, although I feel like some of these might have been replaced. And actually the slate itself would be in good shape if it wasn't with this red, I don't know, tar and paint mixture, which is not helpful. We might try to work on that though. Before I get down from here though, this place would be so amazing to have a deck up here. Just be able to sit and just kind of view some of the sights. For instance, the 2 towers over there. See the Corinthian column to the left and the Bissell water tower to the right. Also all the steeples. We got one there, one there, one right there, and that one right there. Although if I'm being honest, I think I'm missing a few. And I probably am.
Welcome back to the basement of my wonderful house. Hope you guys enjoyed the views from the roof. But this is that scalloped decorations you guys see at the very top of the house, but this is the brand new stuff. It's painted because I painted it really, really early on in the process, basically as soon as I got it. But this stuff is painted with an oil-based primer and an acrylic top coat. Unfortunately, this is before I knew about the wonderful, wonderful Swedish linseed oil paint. And therefore this stuff will not last as long as that stuff. Therefore I need to get this stuff off, and this is going to be a process. Because as you can see, this is an extremely complicated shape. And we made enough of this. I think this is a 14-foot long piece. As you can see, it kind of just keeps going. So it's a really long piece. It barely fits in this room. And I've got a lot of work to do getting the paint off of this. And of course, this isn't the only piece of trim that I went ahead and painted in preparation for the Mansard work to start. But there is maybe a silver lining here. I'm probably saving myself a huge amount of work in, say, 5 to 10 years. So best to do it now when it's not 50 feet in the air. But I've certainly got my work cut out for me making all of this stuff happy. And then I'll be able to finish it with an amazing two-tone paint job, and it should absolutely shine. So that's gonna be the end of the video this week, guys. Before I let you go though, I did want to let you guys know that I am currently selling my old place in the south of St. Louis, which is why I didn't get as much work in as I would have liked to, of course, this week. But that is kind of something every week, if you will. But I've been doing a lot of moving of things. But the reason I even tell you guys any of this at all is because that place is now being emptied out of all the stuff. I can finally show you guys the first project I ever did in restoration. My old place used to be an old pharmacy. It was built around 1915, I believe. And I did a lot of work in there restoring, you know, the original tin ceiling that still exists and some other cool little features and stuff that I added and fixed. So at some point in the very near future, I'll be able to show you guys the first project that I kind of cut my teeth on before I decided to buy the Charles S. Brown house and do this whole project here. So I think that'll be a fun little bit of bonus content for you guys on one of these weekly videos. So as always, guys, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. So thank you as always for being here and joining me on this crazy adventure. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys again next week. Bye-bye.